Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. Yes, it is day 98, June the 10th, 2017, Saturday. Well. The title of the video today spells it out pretty clearly. Hillary Clinton and James Comey are headed for hard times. Hard times are ahead for those two. The James Comey testimony the other day in front of Congress was a disaster for him. In addition to all the other things, let's take a look at what Mr. Comey is now looking at. And it has a lot to do with in the hearings, something that didn't seem to matter very much 24 hours ago, has now been looked at by legal analysts, and it appears that they found a snag in his testimony. And that snag is that he disclosed that the leaked memo, that communication, the communication itself, which he took the memo on a government computer, his own personal FBI government-owned computer. He transmitted that information on that government-owned FBI computer. And therefore, those communications fall under the jurisdiction of U.S. Code 18, USC 641, which deals with the handling and transferring of communications on government devices. You see, the government owns those communications. So James Comey didn't send that memo or take that memo or send it to his friend at Columbia University on his own computer. He didn't meet him in the park and give him a handwritten note. He didn't sit down at the bar and have a physical conversation with him, a verbal conversation. No, he took the notes on his FBI government computer. He then transferred that information, that communication, on his FBI government computer. And therefore, those communications fall under U.S. Code 18, USC 641, Title 641. Therefore, it is a crime. Now, he also has set himself up for an issue with a civil suit by the president. And of course, the president's attorney has already come out and made a statement stating that they have already filed the paperwork for a complaint, and they could actually take it to civil court. So he's guilty of both a criminal violation, possibly more than one criminal violations, just in the sending of the memo itself. Especially because he even stated in his testimony that the purpose of which to give this communication to his friend at Columbia University, who also does work for the State Department, by the way, for the very purpose of leaking it to the New York Times, for the very purpose of that being to get a special prosecutor to investigate the president, to possibly force him into impeachment, or possibly even find a crime. Now, it is also another issue that he has, which is now being looked at by some government attorneys, is exactly how to handle that particular communication based on the motive which we just described. If in fact you look at that motive as James Comey trying to do damage or destruction to the president, if that was the purpose, which he stated it was, then you have another issue, and that is that the private conversation between the FBI director and the president is considered privileged communications, and therefore falls under the classification issue. So therefore that was a classified privileged conversation which he leaked. We don't know what else he leaked. That's all he admitted to, but that's enough. It is a criminal violation. He's also facing jeopardy of being in a civil litigation over this as well, and could be sued for financial damages by the president. So James Comey is looking at some very difficult circumstances ahead. He's also going to be a criminal defendant, along with some other individuals and the FBI, in the civil criminal suit that's going to happen as a result of Dennis Montgomery and Larry Klayman filing charges against James Comey and the FBI and some other individuals for breaking their agreement, number one, with Dennis Montgomery, the whistleblower, who was promised that the information that he turned over, the data he turned over, was done on the premise that it would be investigated. That's the whole reason he took the documents out. That's the reason he took those hard drives out, was to become a whistleblower. He followed the process. He did everything a whistleblower is supposed to do. The only thing that didn't happen was what was supposed to happen, and that was for there to be an investigation of those 47 hard drives, those 600 million pages, proving mass illegal Fourth Amendment violations, surveillance on private citizens. And it appears that the CIA was involved in that, which is a violation of their charter as well. So James Comey is facing criminal violations and civil, both, in this particular case with the whistleblower Dennis Montgomery. This case is going to be heard in federal court, criminal court, with a judge and a jury. James Comey will be a criminal defendant along with some other people. He had received those 47 hard drives, and he chose not to pursue that, even though he and the FBI, based on their agreement, were obligated to do so. So he's at the very least negligent or possibly guilty of purposeful obstruction. And of course, now he falls into possible legal jeopardy because the leaked memo that he admitted to under oath in his hearing yesterday was all done on government-owned computers, therefore government property, therefore a violation of U.S. Code 18, Title 18, U.S. Code 641. So he can also be in a civil suit with the president himself because of, you could say, libel. Also, here's another problem James Comey has. The Department of Justice is now also looking at the fact that when you become the FBI director, you sign many disclosure statements. James Comey, as FBI director, signed a disclosure agreement as part of his job not to transfer or mishandle any classified information or government-owned information, which he just flat out admitted that he did. So he's also looking at another violation. And we don't even know, and hasn't even been proven yet, although I think it will come out, about exactly what his role was in the illegal unmasking and surveillance of Trump and his team, and possibly other people. We know that Trey Gowdy specifically asked John Brennan and Admiral Rogers if they were the individuals, if they had been asked by an ambassador, and we're talking, it appears, about Samantha Power, on the last 2 days of the administration, for them to unmask conversations about Trump and his team. Both Rogers and Brennan have stated no, they did not. But Trey Gowdy must know that the ambassador requested that from somebody because he directly asked the question, and he targeted it to the last 2 days of the Obama administration, and he made it specific to an individual, this being the ambassador, which we now can be about 99% sure was Samantha Power. So Rogers and Brennan, head of the NSA and CIA, state that they did not receive any request for unmasking, then that really only leaves two other people who may have been in a position to do that. And that would be Clapper or Comey. You can bet that James Comey's days of testifying in front of a grand jury, in front of a judge, and in front of Congress, his days of testifying are not over. They are just beginning. But now, instead of sitting at the table as someone trying to take down the president and acting as a witness to that, supplying evidence and trying to make that happen, this time when James Comey comes back in front of the Senate or the House Intelligence Committees or Oversight Committee, or appears in front of a judge and a jury, he will now be in a completely different position. He will now be a criminal defendant and a possible suspect in crimes, real crimes. James Comey better lawyer up. And what he should have done is shut up. He should never have done any of this stuff. And one other thing we haven't even touched on is he also disclosed clear obstruction, which he was part of in collaborating with the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, in shutting down the investigation into Hillary Clinton. We still don't know how far that can go, but we do know that it's been leaked that Jeff Sessions is opening his own look into the Hillary Clinton emails, and it appears that more have surfaced and what James Comey's role may have been. James Comey essentially admitted that Loretta Lynch obstructed justice. She basically told him to alter his investigation and the way he characterized his investigation of Hillary Clinton's email. So that is another issue that James Comey has got to deal with. And you have to ask yourself, why did James Comey say that? He had to know when he made that statement that people were going to pay close attention to that, particularly Republicans and pundits on the right and legal scholars who would be hearing that would say, wait a minute, you're saying that Loretta Lynch called you in her office and told you to change the characterization of your investigation into Hillary Clinton and other communications that we may not be aware of, possibly things that Comey took notes on government computers, which now may be in the possession of the Department of Justice. There's a lot of problems ahead for James Comey. And it appears that Loretta Lynch is going to have to do some explaining herself. So you have to ask the question, why would James Comey put that out there? Of all the things he could have said and how he could have described that conversation, to describe it in the way he did leaves me scratching my head. And the only thing I can conclude from that, just to guess, is that James Comey knows that there's trouble ahead. He knows that they're eventually now going to get to the issues of surveillance and masking and all these other things. Maybe he was the person who was requested by Samantha Power to do the unmasking, and maybe he did it. He knows that there's problems coming ahead, and it's very possible, I think, that he threw that out there about Loretta Lynch just as a message to Loretta Lynch and Susan Rice and Samantha Power and anyone else who, when they get in front of Congress or in front of a grand jury, I think Comey wanted to make sure that they understand that he is not going to be their scapegoat, that he will drop the dime on them in a New York minute to save his neck. I think that the only reason that he would make that statement about Loretta Lynch in that conversation is to send a message to them, to let them know that he is not going to be their scapegoat. He's got enough of his own problems. He is not going to fall on the sword for Susan Rice or Loretta Lynch or anyone in the Obama administration. Again, he's got enough of his own problems. And this is Comey thinking ahead. Remember, he's in a minefield. He knows there's more stuff coming. He doesn't know exactly when or how it's going to come out, but he knows that there's more things coming, and he's dead in the middle of it. And I think that this was a message to Loretta Lynch and anyone else who, when they appear before Congress, who might try to hang it all on James Comey, that he is not going to take the rap. He's going to fight it. But he's going to be needing a lot of legal representation because Mr. Comey has got a lot of legal problems ahead. Hillary Clinton also is facing some serious legal issues ahead. It's been leaked in the past several days by several media outlets that they are looking again at Hillary Clinton's emails. Remember, Obama did not issue a pardon to Hillary Clinton. She's not been pardoned, and they can still go back and look at what happened with those emails. And I expect a new FBI director, is certainly going to look at it. It appears that Jeff Sessions, and they're keeping this on the quiet, apparently. They're not broadcasting it, making it known, but it's being leaked anyway, that they may be re-looking into Hillary Clinton's emails. But she's got another even bigger problem. Oh, and by the way, they're also looking into the Clinton Foundation, and they have made that relatively, for all practical purposes, public. They haven't come out and made an official statement, but it appears that they are looking into the Clinton Foundation, and some of it has to do with this next thing I'm about to tell you, which many of you are probably already aware of. Senator Charles Grassley of the Senate Intelligence Committee apparently has now opened up a new investigation, and it basically involves a situation where Hillary Clinton, as Secretary of State, ordered her State Department officials to threaten a man named Sajib Wazad Joy. He is the son of the Bangladeshi Prime Minister. Sajib Wazad Joy was threatened by State Department officials on the direction of Hillary Clinton to get with his father, the Prime Minister in Bangladesh, and tell him that if they didn't stop the investigation into a man named Mohammed Yunus, that the son of the Bangladeshi Prime Minister, who resides in the U.S., would fall under IRS investigation. He was basically threatened. Hey, go tell your dad, if he doesn't give up on this case against our good friend Mohammed Yunus, then we're going to launch an IRS investigation on you. Now it appears that this Mr. Yunus is a very good friend of the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation. He's a very large donor. Mr. Yunus relationship, Mohammed Yunus relationship, goes all the way back with the Clintons to their days in Arkansas when Bill Clinton was a lieutenant governor. It appears that Mr. Yunus is being investigated by the Bangladeshi government because he's running a shady banking and loan operation. Apparently, like the way we have these like payday loan type companies here in the U.S. that are operating on the very edge of legality, where they prey on poor people who find themselves in a difficult situation. They can't meet a particular bill. They can't get a bill paid, an electric bill, a water bill, a car bill, or something. They can't get a bill paid, and so they go to a payday loan place where they're charged outrageous interest rates, and then this puts them onto a never-ending loan situation they can never get out of, because every week when they get paid, they owe half their check to the payday lender, and they can never get off the merry-go-round. This is the same type of banking operation that this Mr. Mohammed Yunus has been running, and he focuses a lot of his energy and a lot of his clientele are poor, low-income people in Africa and India. Millions and millions of people caught into his banking scam. It is borderline illegal. Possibly is illegal, depending on the tactics that they use. He is under criminal investigation by the Bangladeshi government, or at least was, until Hillary Clinton sent her State Department thugs to send a message to the Prime Minister of Bangladesh's son to say, hey, tell your old man to back off of Mr. Yunus. He's close friends of the Clintons, and if you continue this investigation, we're going to launch an IRS investigation on you, so tell Pops to back off. Compliments of Hillary Clinton. You don't want to make the Clintons mad. They're very nasty people, and they have a lot of very nasty friends. Perhaps Hillary Clinton and James Comey need to get in contact with their good ACLU friend, Brad Bauman. Both of them are needing a little PR help. I know he's busy doing his pro bono work for Seth Rich. Maybe he'll do a little pro bono work for Hillary Clinton and James Comey. They certainly need it. And Mr. Bauman apparently does that type of thing because he's a big-hearted guy. He loves doing pro bono work for troubled Democrats and union labor leaders. He, of course, being a former employee of the SEIU, and we know what kind of things that they do. We can only imagine what Mr. Bauman's previous capacity was with the ACLU. So, what we have is Hillary Clinton and James Comey both looking at hard times ahead. None of these things are going away, and we haven't even really gotten into the main issue that we cover here in TowerGate with the illegal surveillance and unmasking. But believe me, we'll get there because Trump's not letting go. And now that the Russia collusion story is dead, even according to many in the liberal media admit that it's dead, it's over. And now, as I said, the Democrats are going to regret the day that they ever pushed for any of these hearings, because now they're going to get exactly what they asked for. And I don't think they're going to like what's waiting on the other side. And Mr. Comey and Hillary Clinton and her hubby, Bill, Slick Willie, are looking at a lot of problems ahead, believe me. So we'll keep following this. And of course it is Saturday, so I'm heading over to the girlfriend's house here in a few minutes. Get that grill fired up. It's movie night. So we're going to have a good time tonight. Just relax, lay back, do some munching out. And yeah, we're going to do some munching out. And watch some movies and sleep in tomorrow. How about that? So anyway, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. We'll keep watching these stories as they develop. Comey and Hillary Clinton. Hard times ahead. Day 98, TowerGate. June the 10th, 2017. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.